You don't. Hi, everyone. My name is Georgette True, and I am the host of Relatives Fight CPS. And I have my co host, Stacy. You guys cannot see her picture because she's driving. Um, but her presence is there, her voice is there. I'm hoping we don't get disconnected, or, hopefully we're going to get clear voice from Miss Stacy today. Um, but I'm happy to have her on the show always.
Hi, Miss
Um,
G.
Hi, my baby. So, Stacy, you heard what I just read, right?
Yep.
Okay. So you want to start? You want to tell them, or you want me to tell them?
Well, you have to remember, Miss G, I always say this. My claim to fame on this show is that my ex spouse is an attorney who used to work for CPS, and my kids disclosed abuse from him.
Right.
So that's just the foothold
Okay.
of today's show, right?
Okay. So
That
let me
if
go ahead, Stacy.
so, you know, that's dear to home for me when you're reading these articles where CPS workers are being arrested for prostituting the children in their custody.
Yep. So this social worker, his name is blum, 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 blum. Oh man! Even though it's not a funny moment, but I just his name is Damon Bernoth, which is really stands for demon Bernoth. That's what it should be. CPS facility employee with CPS was arrested Thursday. CPS said he was placed on leave. So this is what this guy was doing. He was paying $20 to have oral sex to get, you know, whatever, and sexual activities with minor children. And he's a CPS employee. Was a CPS employee. He was charged with both prostitution and public indecency at Hamilton County, and Hamilton County judge set Bernoth bond at 5,500 for two charges.
So, Miss G, if somebody
Five
has
thousand
bond,
five hundred. Okay.
if somebody has bond for $5,000, how much money do they actually have to come up with then?
5,500 is nothing.
Yeah, no, but they don't pay the full bond price. I think, right? They just pay like $100 for a $5,000 bond. But if they leave the country or escape, then they have to pay the 5,000. But I think they don't even have to pay that to get out of jail. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think that's how it works.
Right. But do you guys remember for decades I've been telling you guys even yesterday that pedophiles become social workers. Why? Because that's the closest to the children.
And it's confidential.
Closest access and confidentiality. Correct. So basically they know what career they want to be in because that is the easiest target to get children, minor children. I'm telling you guys right now, you guys think you're dealing with a system that protects your children, you're wrong. Oh Lord. Um, Let me just turn off my phone. But go on, Stacy, until I turn off my phone.
Yeah, but of course, I mean, there. This is just the priest uh, sex abuse scandal was just a microcosm of what's happening in the CPS system throughout our whole nation. Just as being a priest affords trust, automatic trust, and access to children and confidentiality, so does CPS. So it'd be silly to think that it happens in the priesthood, but it couldn't happen in our government. That would just be silly.
Uh, I can't process any of it, to be honest with you. Um, a man like that works for CPS. You would think that they will hold him accountable with a higher bond because he has connection with the children.
They probably, Miss G, they
I mean,
probably they probably do the same thing that the Catholic Church did and just move them around. But this guy was doing it out in public. So what are they supposed to do? They can't hide that he was doing it. He was so bold. He was doing things in public.
Mm-hmm. And that's why I'm kind of I'm not understanding this. I'm not understanding it. But again, if you guys check your social workers' records, public records, you will see. I've seen so many social workers that have criminal records against them. I'm not joking. So many of them. So many court-appointed attorneys that have felonies against them. Um, you guys need to understand that in order for you to do corruption, you have to be corrupt. If that makes any sense, you have to be corrupt in order for you to act on corruption and do what you do to hurt others. They're not going to choose decent people. Decent people is not going to make them money. Decent people who follow the law is not going to make them money. They want someone who's not going to follow the rules. They want someone who would lie and manipulate everything so they can ensure funding coming in from the federal government. That's what you guys need to understand. So when you speak to a social worker and you think in your head, hey, this person likes me, you're delusional. And I hate to say this to you, but you're delusional, because anyone that has control over your child doesn't have the best interest for your child. The child belongs to the parents. If one parent is abusing the child, then the child should be placed with the other parent. If both parents are abusing the child, when I'm saying abusing, I'm saying neglecting to feed them, I'm saying neglecting to clothe them, neglecting to have a roof over their head, neglecting to have a clean place to live, neglecting you're locking them up in the room without food and water, your boyfriend is molesting them, or your girlfriend is molesting them, or both. All of that is imminent danger. Now, I understand for them to go and get involved when something like this happens, but they don't want these children. They're damaged goods. And I'm not the only one who's been saying this for decades. Other attorneys been saying it now on social media, attorneys that I know very well. They don't want damaged goods. They want children who are not damaged so they can damage them. There's so many cases out there where the child dies. The child dies. The parents are both on drugs. The house is destroyed inside. It's not a clean environment to live in. And when I say destroyed, it was so horrible. Dave sent me a text message to look at a video, and he was supposed to be on the show, but I don't know what happened to him. But anyways, he asked me to look at the video, and it was so horrifying. I would take them from their parents too. The 5-year-old was found dead underneath the mother, underneath a pile of clothes. The mother was so high on meth and marijuana, whatever the heck she was doing, and so was the father. So what I'm trying to tell you guys, those are the kids that needs rescue. Those are the kids that needs help. But what they do is they focus on the ones who don't need to be rescued. They focus on the ones who are in good place with family members and family. And parents. So please keep in mind, again, I'm going to keep telling you this over and over again. You can be the best parent of the year of all the countries. You could be the best parent. You have an award-winning best parent. CPS can easily come and destroy that. They want these kids to put them in a place that they will adopt the children. Remember this. So family, stop separating yourselves from the parents. Stop listening to CPS corrupting your mind about your daughter or your son or your daughter-in-law or your son-in-law. You guys need to get it together and help them emotionally, mentally, and financially, because they're going to drain the mother and the father. They're going to drain them. They're going to suck out their souls for them to do classes. They're going to lose sleep. They're worried about their children. Stop listening to CPS about your child. Stop saying, CPS told me you did drugs. Why did you do drugs? That's what grandparents tell the parents of the children. That's crazy. Stop believing what the social workers are saying. Remember this, the social workers have the burden of proof on them. The burden of proof is on the worker to prove that your daughter-in-law, son-in-law, or child, who are the parent, indeed committed these crimes. But see, a lot of you guys don't understand that. And I'm not only saying this just because other attorneys are saying the same thing. These social workers, these hyenas, these depleted souls, these people are bankrupt from themselves. These people have absolutely zero remorse. They have nothing inside but darkness. These individuals have to prove that you are an unfit parent or parents in order for them to remove your child. They're supposed to reunify you with your children, not pretend to reunify you with your kids and then take off as if, oh, there is this and this and this and this on the parents. Prove it. Show me facts. Facts, facts, facts. That's why you need a CPS defense attorney to ask for those facts, to prove it to the attorney that they indeed did what they did. Your court-appointed attorney is a scumbag, and may God have mercy on their souls. Because these people get paid by the state. My tax dollars pays them. Like everyone else's tax dollars. But they have to get into that scope. They have to work around the scope. They have to stay in that scope box that the court wants them to do, to follow. Meaning, they can't help you. They can't say, hey, I'm going to subpoena the doctor that said blah, 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 blah. I'm going to subpoena the social worker. They tell you they're going to subpoena, but they don't subpoena for cross-examination. All these people that had allegations against you, they should be subpoenaed and they should be cross-examined. You, as a parent in CPS court, you're guilty until proven innocent. It's not supposed to be that way. Where are the facts? Social workers? Social workers. I have never hated anything in my life as much as I hate them. I hate social workers, and I hate court-appointed attorneys, and I hate stupid judges. Why? Because they have evidence and they have the truth, but they're still believing the lies in their head. I might not hate the person. I hate the demons inside them. I hate the acts, these acts of demonic acts that they create every single second of every day is not normal. And we the people, still believe them when they threaten you. Do you know CPS uses the threat strategy to get you to do what they want? That's what you guys don't see. They use their own demonic strategy to fear you, to bully you, to get you to do what they want. They act like God on earth because you're allowing them to act like God on earth. That's why you need to lawyer up, and that's exactly why you need to back up the parents, grandparents, and aunts and uncles and relatives. Any relatives out there, back your children up. Stop listening to the social workers that if they do their classes, they're going to get their children back. That is a bunch of lies. That is not true. And you guys, families, think that if you're the mother or the father or both do the classes and listen to what the social worker has to say, or tell them to do, then they're in the clear. You're like 1,000% wrong. 1,000% wrong. I'm so sick and tired of relatives who think they know when they don't know. With all due respect to all of you grandparents and relatives out there, aunts and uncles out there, you guys don't know nothing about child protective services. You guys have never, ever dealt with them in legal battles. You don't know their demonic strategy. You don't know the lies they spread about your child, the mother or the father, whether you're the paternal aunts or paternal uncles or paternal grandparents or maternal or the maternal side. They lie. The only time a parent will get their child back is if they hire a competent CPS defense attorney. What I have heard today is that other people are hiring immigration attorneys. Why? Or business attorneys, business law attorneys. Why in the name of God would you hire a business law or an immigration attorney? What the hell is an immigration attorney going to do? Tell me what laws, right, that pertaining to CPS that the immigration has. Nothing. Nothing. Just because an immigration attorney fights the state for, immigrants or whatever, that doesn't mean it's the same thing as a CPS attorney. A CPS attorney is a defense attorney against the state and county. That's what it is. Let me break it down to you. A CPS defense attorney is a defense attorney against the state, the corrupt state, and the corrupt counties in that state. Those people work together because, again, if you break a demon's house, it can't stand. So if they go against each other, that's breaking their home. So they have to side with each other. They have to protect each other. Do you guys understand? They protect each other. The state, the county attorneys, the state attorneys, and the county children services. You guys cannot get legal help. Why? Because these legal helps, free legal helps, they're funded by the state. They protect them too. I can't explain it enough to you guys. They are not going to help you. If you don't have an attorney and you were stuck with the court-appointed attorney, you know for a fact you're an innocent parent. You didn't do anything. Don't waste your money if you are a dysfunctional person. Don't have time for your children, but want them just because. That's when you say to the social workers and your court-appointed attorney, you give them a letter that has 25 names of people that you know. Anywhere in the world, Attorney Davis says. Anywhere in the world. If you have 25 names or more, or even 100, your defense attorney will say, well, wait a minute now. You mean out of 100, you couldn't find one suitable home for the children? That's what a defense attorney does. That's why it's important, Attorney Davis says, 25 names or more of people that you know, that you trust around your children. Now, if you trust a best friend around your children and say they gave them to the best friend, which is a true story, then the best friend turns against you, right? And then tells the social workers, I'm going to take care of these kids. I'm going to adopt them. Then the best friend turns against you and tells all your secrets to the social worker. Just assume. But again, this is a true story. The social worker is going to love that best friend. Why? Because now that best friend is going to make them money. How? They will tell the best friend, hey, you're going to get $4,000 a month that you can live on, extra income if they have another job, if you become a foster parent. So that way CPS wins and the foster parent wins. That $4,000 a month is going to cut your relationship with you and your best friend that you trusted to have your children. So you need to understand, when we say best friend, do you really know them? Because oftentimes we have best friends that we don't know, and we say they're our best friend, but then later on in life, they screw us. Right? So when you have a best friend like that turns against you, and she or he was your best friend forever, you already know that they're going to side with that person against you. So that's why I always say you have a decent grandparents, right? Decent grandparents or decent aunts. Everybody have a favorite aunt in the family. The fun aunt, the favorite aunt, the good aunt, or two or three if you're blessed. Make sure their names are on the list first. Leave your best friends to the end of the list. But what comes first is family, then close friends of the family, then all that at the end. But at the beginning, it should be family members only. Bloodline of your children. Whether it's the maternal side or the paternal side, for God's sakes, think about it. Be there for your children and be there for your grandchildren and your nieces and your nephews, and stop destroying your family because you think the social worker is nice. There is no nice. The nice ones resign from the department. The nice ones do not remain in that department. Because the nice ones, the fair ones that follow the law, are considered dangerous to the children and family services. Why? Again, I will repeat, because they're not going to profit from them. So please, I'm begging you, stop retaliating against the parents, family. Stop it. Stop it. Hi, Jamie. Hi, sweetheart. Um, Laura said, yes, but tell them that the state of California sells kids to highest bidder. My kids now have serious emotional ill. My God. The state of California is horrible. 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 You guys think Gavin Newsom don't know about the trafficking in CPS children? Oh, he knows. He knows. He knows. And shame on you, whoever voted for that. You guys think he's handsome and you voted for him? Well, some of you guys, I mean, not all of you, but shame on you. Shame on you. That man knows everything that is going on. Everything. Um, Laura went on tell me what happened to Senator Shaper and her husband. Senator Shaper. Oh, Nancy Schaefer. Okay, Nancy Schaefer and her husband. They ended up being found murdered when they went against, yeah, I know, when they went against CPS. I've been saying that for years, love. Nancy Schaefer, she was murdered. She was a senator for Georgia. She lost her seat on the Senate. And she exposed the Clintons. She exposed the Department of Children and Family Services, how they make profit from, children. She exposed doctors in hospitals. She exposed nurses. She exposed therapists. She exposed so many people who are involved in this for job security. She exposed all that. Right about before she wrote her book, she began to get death threats, and she was scared. She was kind of, but it didn't stop her. And then all of a sudden, she gets assassinated in her home, and her and her husband. Then the media said that her husband shot her. How many out there um, um, understand what I'm about to, what I said just now, and understand that they will always, always, always brush the crime under the rug and use something else to justify what happened. So Nancy Schaefer, may God rest her soul, she opened the eyes of so many Americans that's dealing with CPS. But the rest of America, who's not dealing with CPS, still clueless to how CPS is and how they operate. Jamie said it's called manipulation tactics. That is correct, my love. And Laura said, I did. She said, I did she meant to say take a class, take classes, plus more classes did not matter to them. Exactly. It doesn't matter, Laura. I just finished saying that, baby girl. Schaefer is her name. Correct. Uh, Jamie said, tricks, and they try to be friends with you and act like they are your best friend, and they trick people that are scared into the in that, and then they open up and that person just threw themselves under the bus because they do that to get info out of you. Exactly. The reason CPS, this is what Jamie's trying to relay. The reason CPS is doing this to you is because in order for you to gain information from someone, you have to pretend to be their friend. Man, did I have that happen to me. Oh my God, I loved her so much. She was like, I loved her. I loved her and her son so much. And she was only nice to me and pretending to be my best friend or my friend to get information from me and to use me. But it backfired on her because God is not, you don't mess with God's children. But, anyways, social workers do that, making you think that they're siding with you when they're not siding with you. They're not siding with you whatsoever. They just want you to think they like you and not the other parent. They will always say that. Oh, Miss G, I really like you. You're the right fit. I don't trust the dad, right? And then Miss G thinks, oh my God, they're gonna give me the kids back. Thank you, God. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. I'm like, happy as can be, but again, you're trusting a demon. That demon just wants you to think that because she wants you to say, you're right. My ex did this, XYZ. My ex, blah, 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 blah. My ex, I gave him so many chances and he used to beat me and beat me and beat me, and I would forgive him because he said he's going to get help. Da, 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 da. And then that social worker, your best friend already, writes in the report, mother failed to protect because the father has been abusing her for over 5 years and she's still with the father. When you have diarrhea in your mouth, talking to your enemy, they're going to use that against you. So grandparents, stop talking to them. Grandparents, I suggest you also lawyer up. Make your presence known. Your children attorney is not going to help you, grandma and grandpa, or auntie and uncle. The CPS attorney is not going to help you. The court appointed attorney is not going to help you. So you have to hire your own attorney if you want to have rights to these kids, because once the paternal rights are terminated, you lose your rights. That's why you have to appeal it. And if you lose the appeal again, Attorney Davis says. You can appeal as many times as you want. But the social worker will discourage you. Nope, it's too late. You call other attorneys. This is a true story. A grandfather called me yesterday. He said he called other attorneys and other attorneys told him that it's too late. No, it's not too late. Well, my daughter lost the appeal. It doesn't matter. She can reappeal it. But they're not doing the right thing. They're not hiring the right person, the right CPS defense attorney to help them with the appeal. That's why, like Attorney Michael says, always get an attorney from day one before they even remove the children. Why? Because that attorney is going to ensure, a CPS defense attorney that is going to ensure, not to remove the children. Now, if you already hired an attorney before the children are removed and say they lied and had false accusation against you again, and then, they remove the children, then you at least have an attorney in place to continue on the case. But when you go to another attorney when the case is too late, There's only the only one I know actually when the case is old and not old, but when it's towards the TPR, termination of parental rights, Attorney Davis handles complex cases, but his retainer is not going to be cheap. This is not a $3,000 retainer. It's not $3,200 retainer. This is retainer is going to be extremely high. Labor Day we give like discounts on retainers or what have you, but that's not going to be it. Say you got a retainer discount and your retainer went down to 32 or 3,500. That's not going to be it. This is just to take your case and work on that 32 or $3,500 that you gave the law firm. But you have to keep replenish your agreement. That's with every lawyer. So don't assume that 3,200 is going to handle everything. It's not true. You guys are so concerned of getting cheap when cheap doesn't do anything for you. Cheap doesn't. So if you hire a family law attorney, because he's called family law attorney, but you're not dealing with family court, you're dealing with CPS court, and I keep telling you guys this. You're dealing with the state and county. I don't know how many times I have to say this. This is not a family law matter. This is a state and county matter. This is why they separate. This is why the social workers love to separate families. Why? Because grandma and grandpa could help financially, but they separate them because they don't want them to help them financially. They want the parents to die. They want the parents to literally lose themselves. They want the parents to fall and they can't get up again, because that would make the social worker's job so much easier. So please, I'm begging you, stop it. Stacy, I know you're back. I lost you there for a few, but you're back. Go ahead, Stacy. I'm gonna mute myself and you go on.
Yeah, I was driving through them their neck of the woods, and there's no cell phone service for a minute. But everything you always say, Miss G, you're right. I, I don't. Have we ever disagreed on your show?
No, actually, no.
Because what you're saying is right. And I just wish more people knew, because by the time they're watching us, it's probably because CPS is already involved, and a lot of people already understand their misdeeds that they're doing. It's too bad more people didn't know before CPS became a part of their lives. But
Yeah,
but it's they're criminals, and
right.
the truth should always be the truth. And if children are abused, you shouldn't have to lie about the facts, and you shouldn't have
Right.
to lie to keep them from the parents. You know,
No, no, but the thing is, people don't know that you can
it takes a
appeal again. And Attorney Davis said that several times on his shows, even. He said you can appeal again. So, you guys, the reason, okay, when you lose an appeal is because you guys don't know how to close the final argument. You don't know what to say. You don't know what to do. So you go on AI stuff and you think this is, you use a case or whatever, um, uh, case number, previous case number that, assigns with your situation. And then, but you don't know how to say it. You don't have that legal talk, right? You can't sound
yeah,
normal when you speak into three appellate judges. You can't just be a normal person
right,
talking. You have to speak to them in legal terms, legal wording,
for their
legal
respect. Yeah,
right, for their respect. If you just keep talking like I am, they're gonna look at me like this woman has diarrhea in her mouth. They don't know what I'm saying. It's like they're oblivious to it. They're so cold, so cold. They don't know how to be human. They think everything is disrespect to them, but they don't see a desperate mother or a desperate father, right? They don't see that. They don't see that When you're desperate, you just emotions comes out of your words. But they don't care. I mean,
And it takes a really special person, and not in a nice way, to
right.
lie to remove children from their parents.
Yeah, but Jamie said she lost an appeal and she paid an appellate attorney. Sweetheart, I hope you paid the appellate attorney the right appellate attorney, meaning an attorney that handled CPS cases before.
Well, Miss G, appeals, first of all, prevention is the best remedy. And you need to be lawyered up from onset of your case, not 10 years later.
Amen to that.
Because once you get to the appellate courts, the likelihood of turning your case around is significantly less.
Right.
Appellate courts rarely vacate the orders from other courts. But when it's your children and the stakes are high, of course you take those chances and you proceed. And there's other reasons to do your appeals too. But you don't want to get it to the level of the appellate court before you start doing something.
That is true. I want you guys to understand too. If you get an appellate attorney that says to you, you know what, Adriana, I'm gonna only charge you $1,500 to do an appeal. That's a lie. They're not gonna put their heart in it. Stacy, you already have been doing your own, civil case, right? How many hours did you invest in it, and also how much money did you invest in it? Because people think it's it's easy. It's $1,500 is going to do the appeal. It's not true.
So it's almost like writing an appeal brief is the easy part, because you have to get the record, but it's not like, oh, yeah, I'll get the record. It's like they resist giving you the record, and you have to fight to get the record, and you have to show the law to get the record, and then they'll hand over half the record. They'll hand over the record not certified. They'll not give you the docket sheet and go through all these things because they really don't want to give you the record.
Nope.
And then you have to fight to get the transcripts because they don't want to give you the transcripts, because they don't want you appealing their orders. And then those court reporter won't get back to you, and then the court reporter will block you so you can't contact her, and then be like, oops, I never meant to do that.
What else?
And then you'll be lucky
that's
if
what
the
makes it
transcript
hard.
is altered by the judge.
Right, but that's what makes it hard for the attorney that you hire too. He or she has to go jump hoops to get what they need for your appeal.
Right. Or how about this, right? Or get the record from another attorney, because who's doing the appeal may not be the same attorney that did the lower court.
Correct.
So,
that is correct.
Yeah. So there's a lot of difficulty. The other side not cooperating, because some states, they have both sides, attorneys from both sides stipulate to the record. What do you do when the other side doesn't respond? There's so many tricks. So many tricks that they try because they don't want you to appeal. And not only does the judge not want you to appeal their order, and not only does the judge's staffers not want you to appeal the judge's orders, but your opposition doesn't want you to appeal the order.
Yeah, but see, also, I'm reading Jamie's comment. She said that she got her transcripts. Transcripts are not enough. In some cases, transcripts is not evidence either. It's
you gotta
weird.
get the whole record, and you gotta get the record, and you gotta get the transcripts.
Exactly.
And you gotta make sure the transcripts aren't altered.
Exactly. And also defense attorney, I mean the log. Every social worker has to keep daily logs. That is so important. Attorney Davis always asks for the logs, the social worker logs, daily logs, and always asks for the last minute orders. If you have all the minute orders from day 1 to day 12, get it. Because the minute orders is a brief description of what happened that day from the judge. The judge's order for that day. So if the judge ordered for that day, saying, like, say, example, the judge said, Miss Hernandez, I would like for Miss Hernandez, the mother, to have overnight visits starting next week. Say that's what the judge said. All of a sudden, Miss Hernandez leaves the court. Everything is great. She thinks everything is great. And the social workers come back and say, nope, we're not going to do that. Then Miss Hernandez is like, wait a minute, but the judge said, don't talk to them. Talk to your attorney. Tell your attorney what the social worker said. Do not reply back to this hyena. Do not. Just tell your attorney in writing, email, or text. This is what Miss Gabrielle Dakota said to me yesterday. Okay.
Miss G,
Uh-huh.
I was helping a grandmother to get her record for her appeal. It took 7 months. That's the time that the whole time we were trying to get the record, not like including extra time. This was the time dedicated to her record. It took 7 months. It took a phone call to the police. It took a notice of claim to the state. It took getting her oaths of office. It took going to the office repeatedly. Lord knows what else it took. Multiple emails complaining. And a motion to the appellate court. All these things. 7 months. Then we finally got the record the other day.
7 months. You guys hear that? So, I mean, and Stacy's helping. Stacy's not even an attorney, but she's helping her. But what I'm trying to tell you guys is this. You guys think when you hire the defense attorney that you trust, and all of a sudden you think he or she is not working in your behalf, and they are. It just takes a long time. It's a long process. You want to fight for your kids? You better lawyer up from day 1, baby. Day 1 before they remove your children. But the social workers, again, wants you to wait, to lean on their false hope.
Yep.
False hope. So you don't have to, so they tell you don't hire an attorney. You don't need one. They're going to assign you one. This sounds so convincing. But they assign you a scumbag, most likely with a criminal record and felonies, who don't give a crap about you. He or she loves the paycheck they get every month. I don't know, or weekly, or whatever, however they get paid. That's all they care about. They're going to get paid losing your case. They're going to get paid winning your case. They don't win, but they get paid for losing your case. Sad, isn't it? So keep that in mind. Stacy, is there anything else you want to tell them?
I just always tell people you got to start learning the law. If your kids are getting wrapped up in the system, start learning the law, because I do believe Miss G when she says Mr. Davis is a very good attorney, but 99.9% that are out there are not. And they will work for the state, and they will work for your opposition, even though you pay for them.
And Stacey and I are witnessing that right now.
So your best protection is to start learning the law too, so that when they try to pull a fast one on you, it doesn't go over.
No, it doesn't. So keep that in mind too, that if you hire, like Stacey said, if you hire an attorney, that's what she's really meaning to say. If you hire an attorney, that attorney can sign a deal or make a deal with the opposing the CPS attorney. Why? Because that CPS attorney and the county and the state will promise that attorney that you pay that they will be getting business from them. They're going to be part of the court, right? they're going to hire them for cases, or they're going to bring them cases. Either way, be careful who you hire. I'm witnessing that for the last 4 or 5 months now. 4 months, sorry, 4 months. And that's in a different state. That's in New York.
Well,
But
Miss G, that's where I live, and that's always been my problem here in New York. Is no matter what attorney I hired, they always worked for the other side. Again, my ex is an attorney who worked for CPS,
yep.
so they always worked for the other side and helped him out and took my money, which is really why I decided to get certified as a paralegal. But now that I got certified as a paralegal, it's really not that hard to do. You can do it in like 10 months, and you can do it online. It costs maybe about $3,000 or less. And if that just saves your butt one time because you catch something that your attorney was going to do that wasn't right, it's worth it.
And that's exactly, but don't think that you calling an independent CPS defense firm that you're going to get a break, that we or any other CPS defense firms, that they're going to take your case pro bono. No, you can't make a living. You know how many mothers, you know how many parents out there that's fighting CPS? Imagine every case is pro bono, free. How is that law firm going to stand?
Well, Ms. G, I'm going to tell you because I went through this. And from birth, our country teaches us that our country takes care of you. And, our insurance takes care of you, our police take care of you, our firefighters take care of you, our ambulance takes care of you. We're taught to believe that. And so when your kids get taken away and you feel wronged,
Oh, you're gone, Stacy. Hello. Okay, I think Stacy, what she's trying to say is that from our young days, we learn what she said, that they're going to protect us, they're going to take care of us. So when we, as an adult, grow up dealing with this, we think the system is going to help us. We think, but guys have to understand, these people get paid for services. So I don't want to work for free. I don't know about you guys. I volunteer myself for free, my services for free, meaning I volunteer after work or on my days off. I volunteer at um, um, shelters, domestic violence shelters. I help them as much as I can, but I volunteer. I don't expect to get paid from it. Right? So I do the shows. I don't get paid for the shows. I don't get paid for every show I do. But I do get paid for working for Attorney Davis, for example. But those shows, I'm literally doing it not because I have to, it's because I want to. Because I want everyone to be educated. I want everyone to understand their rights. I want everyone to be aware of the demonic strategy. So keep that in mind. Understand that they're not your best friend. They're not the grandmother's best friend. They're not the grandfather's best friend or the aunt or the uncles. They're only out for themselves. Any social worker, any child protective social workers, any CPS worker, if you hear from their mouth that they took on this job to help children, they're lying, 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 lying. The ones who resigned from the departments are the ones who really took on the job to help families and children. Those are the ones that really wanted that. But because of the corruption, they resign because they don't want to be part of the corruption. Those are the ones I trust. But also make sure that if you ever come across a social worker that says, I resign from the department, do your due diligence. If you have an investigator, hire one. If you don't have one, hire one, and see if they indeed resign from the department. Do your due diligence to make sure you're not already speaking to a social worker, right, that wants to trap you. Like with me, with my two girls from the department that resigned, they showed me their intake paperwork. They showed me their badge. They showed me the badge that they had. They showed me their term, their letter to resign. They showed me text messages from supervisors telling them to do kidnapping shit, and crap, and go against the mother or the father, or lie to the parents. They have all that. They showed me all that. A person that's deceiving you will not have any proof to show you that they resigned from the Department of Children and Family Services. So you have to be like, literally, I mean, I tell people always pray for discernment and wisdom. Discernment is what gives you that. Discernment. You're discerning between who you're speaking with, who you're dealing with. So be wise. Don't walk blindly. I rely on God, but God also told us what? We have to also rely on what? Him. And He gives you discernment and wisdom. There's something else I want to share with you guys before I end the show that I learned. Some of you guys, back in the day when I used to do my shows, I used to get so angry. And I used to say bad words, the B word, the S word, they're just do not like. I just hated what they're doing. Hated them so much for what they do to other people. Okay. And I told you guys the story that one of my coworkers, I love her so much. She works with us, and she's I just love her. She's amazing. She used to say, I love your shows, GT, but I want you to stop saying the F word and the B word and all that. And I stopped, and then I get how you hit it again, and I would say like the ASS, there's such ASS, and then I would say something else, and um, you know, but anyways, I came across a guy in the park about a week ago, and he and I were talking. He was reading a book, and I was interested in that book, and he and I were talking. He's a really sweet guy. I love him so much. That guy ended up being a police officer. And I was like asking him about the book, and then he and I started talking, and then he said something. I said the F word. I said I work at a law firm, and I'm dealing with some effing social workers who steal children. He said, "Yeah, I can understand that," but he said, "You know what? Try not to say the F word." I said, "Why?" He said, "Because that's creating a curse in your life and on the people you're trying to help." And I said, "That what?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "Because the curse word, the F word, is what demons say when they're forced to come out of someone in the name of Jesus." I never, I'm being honest with you. He was so like thorough in how he was explaining it to me. I literally think about it now, and I refuse to say the F word or the B word or any word that is said out of anger that is bad. I stopped using it. Now, sometimes I slip, and then right away say, nope, correct myself. But try your best to pray, but don't let that mouth say any bad words, because that's the mouth. Those are the lips you're praying with. God is good. God sends me people, random people, to show me that He wants me to change, to show me that I'm His child, and He wants me to act like His child. Not just, be a talker, but be a doer. He wants me to watch my mouth. So that's why I meet people, random people throughout, the month that God sends to me to tell me or to give me a bit of wisdom or to let me hear something that God wants me to change. So keep that in mind. God is good. God is amazing. God is real. And I love him with all my heart. So prayers, prayers over your social workers, prayers over your judges, name them. And also, the devil cannot read what you write. Believe it or not, demons can't read. They can't read. They can't read what you write, and they can't hear what's in your head, they can't read your mind, and they can't read what you write on paper. Write everything that you are requesting. Write everything down. Do not speak it, write it, or in your heart, pray to God, request it from God, but do not let the mouth speak it out loud. Why? The devil will use what comes out of your mouth and hinder every chance. So we also have strategy, but our strategy comes from God. So use it wisely. You will not know this unless you hear it, or if it makes sense to you. I hope it does. If it doesn't, pray about it. Pray about it if you want it to make sense to you. Um, but again, pray over them by name in your heart and also write your request as well. Again, demons cannot read what you write, and demons cannot read your mind. Only God does. Remember that. Do not speak ill words about your case. Do not speak ill words about the social workers. Do not, do not, do not. Why? Because again, you're placing that right in front of you. So speak positive, pray positively, and know that when you pray from your heart, God heard you. But if you're just praying to get something done, you want your way, it doesn't work that way. Okay? God bless you guys. I will see you guys on Tuesday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So it's Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday are my shows. Okay? And talk to you soon.